even when I'm down. Got my head in the clouds and my feet on the ground. I got big dreams, gonna make them true.
Yeah, welcome to the Genius Lab, where we help you realize your greatness, help you take those big dreams and make them come true. And I'm so excited to be back in the saddle. It's been a while since I've done any podcasts. And it's really been awesome because I've been in a time of reorganization that has been really powerful. And that has led me back onto this format because this is important shit. So basically what I want to do is start from scratch, like start from the very beginning where we did a couple of years ago and reframe and reform, because the energy is different now than it was then. We've gone through COVID. We've gone through so many things. We're on the other side of it. Now we've got pending World War III and all kinds of other shit going on. And the deal is we don't have time to mess around with things that don't matter, because the gifts that you bring to the world are way too important, and you fulfilling your mission is way too important to ignore or to waste away not being focused. So I'm going to do a series of podcasts about realizing your greatness, which is what we do here in the Genius Lab. And what I've got is I call them the 3 C's, okay? Clarity, congruence, and consistency. And what I want to talk about today is just a quick overview. And then next week, I'm going to do a podcast specifically on clarity. Then I'm going to do one specifically on congruence. And then I'm going to do one specifically on consistency. But I'm going to keep them really short, because one of the things that I've realized when I've been listening to podcasts over the last 6 or 8 months is that for me personally, I don't like an hour-long podcast. They drive me crazy. I'm good for about 15 to 20 minutes. And so I'd like to keep mine. I have been doing 30 minutes. I'd like to keep things around 15 to 20. So we're going to keep them short. We're going to keep them right to the point, not a lot of jibber jabber, but we want to help you realize your greatness, and the urgency now is more than ever. And so I appreciate you listening to this podcast. Please share it with your friends, share it with your community, post it on your social media, and let's get the word out and get everybody realizing their greatness. So let's jump right in. We're going to do an overview of the 3 C's. And the intention is to help you realize your greatness. You may know what your greatness is. You may think you know what your greatness is, and maybe you do and maybe you don't. But what I assure you is, starting to follow these steps, you will definitely come into conscious awareness of your greatness, conscious awareness of the genius that resides within you. Remember, my teacher Malidoma has always said, everyone is born a genius, and it's the job of the village. It's the job of you and I to acknowledge and support the genius that resides in each and every person around us. And that's what my purpose is for this podcast, and that's why I'm here. So let's start with clarity. The 3 C's: clarity, congruence, and consistency. Clarity is just what it sounds like. It's a clear picture of what you want to create. Now, a lot of times we get hung up on details, like, I want to make $300,000 a year, and I want to work 20 hours a week, and I want to do it doing this or that. Okay, that's great. It's a good place to start, but how do you know you're not limiting yourself? How do you know that the universe doesn't want to give you $3 million and have you work 10 hours a week, even though you can't imagine that? So maybe your clarity could be changed a little bit to, I want abundance that provides all of my needs and desires, and I want to do it doing something that I love. I mean, I swear to God, if somebody 10 years ago told me I was going to be producing music as a semi-full-time occupation, I would have told them they're out of their minds. I don't know anything about music production, and here I am. And I get the opportunity to work with kids from Children's Hospital and Ronald McDonald House, and I get to work with veterans and first responders and get to do things for Final Cycles. I've done an entire soundtrack for a documentary. Never would have believed this in a million years. But here it is, and I continue to meet more and more people that support that mission and that clear vision. The clear vision is to make good music that has an impact on the world. And sometimes it's country western, sometimes it's bluegrass, sometimes it's pop, sometimes it's rock, and sometimes it's classical. We just recorded some amazing classical violinists in Sayulita, Mexico. It was San Pancho, actually. But it was really a powerful experience in this woman's house. The sound was amazing. And I got to work with a master sound engineer from Sweden. And we've been becoming friends, and now we got to work together. So the clarity of my vision, and this is what I would recommend for you as well, is don't be so restrictively clear. Be more clear in general terms so that there's some flexibility on not allowing you to miss an opportunity that could be better than the one that you think you want to do. And so the basic feeling of what your desire is I think the most important thing. You want to feel free, you want to feel inspired, you want to feel passionate. So I want, enough resources, financial resources to come in, because obviously in our society that's how we live, that's how we get our food, that's how we have our shelter, so on and so forth. But also, what if somebody wants to have you come and live at their house full time? They've got 5 homes and they want you, hey, we don't ever go to this place, but we want it looked after. Why don't you go stay there and then, do your thing? All kinds of opportunities can happen. In Park City, when I lived there, one of the Olympic team members got an opportunity to stay in a $20 million house. These people wanted him to just look after it and let him stay there. And he was a trusted member of the community and all that. He never dreamed that he would be able to stay in a house like that and live for several years. So the universe has all kinds of interesting things that are outside of our awareness. But if we focus in on the clear picture of what we want to look like and feel like, and then leave some expansion room for that, because most likely the universe is much more expansive than you. I know it certainly is more expansive than me. So anyway, the clarity is having a clear picture of what you want to look like and feel like. Okay? Congruence. Congruence is focused energy. It's everything you think, do, move towards, focus on, read about, listen to. Everything is focused on creating what it is that you want to create. Okay? Congruence is focused energy. The reason that the floodlight outside of your house that might be 100 watts and 120 volts and it shines out, maybe 50 feet, and then you have a laser that has a little 9-volt battery in it that can shoot a mile or a mile and a half, is congruence. The lens at the end of the laser focuses the light energy in a very, very tight stream. On your house, you want a floodlight because you want to have broad, spread out light energy to accomplish that purpose. That's not very congruent, but it serves a purpose. Congruence is what happens with the lasers, where you're tightly focused. So focus your energy. What are your core values? What are your core beliefs? What's your mission? How do you execute? In other words, goals and intentions. This is really powerful, because when you bring your life into congruence and you stop doing the things that don't serve you, all of a sudden more good things start to happen. And the people, Jimi Hendrix, there's a documentary about Jimi Hendrix, and his friend said, hey, Jimmy would carry a guitar into the bathroom in the morning when he was going to take his morning bathroom time, and you could hear him in there playing the guitar while he was sitting on the toilet. It didn't just happen for Jimmy. Jimmy worked his ass off, but he had focused energy. He had congruence. He was constantly playing his guitar, constantly expanding, constantly reaching towards the vision that he saw for himself and fulfilling his mission of bringing powerful music to the world. Then we have consistency. And consistency is a lot like congruence. Congruence is focused energy, so everything that you do supports your mission, supports what you want to create. Consistency is doing it over and over and over and over again. I have failed miserably on consistency when it comes to my podcast because I did them for about 6 or 8 months and then I completely just dropped the ball, got out of the habit, got inconsistent where I was doing them maybe once every couple weeks, 3 weeks, and then have been months without them. It's just, so when you are consistent, you will get results. When you're inconsistent, you will get results, like not the ones you want. So I asked, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I said, so God, I'm just not getting any new listeners and da-da-da. And he said, well, when did you do your last podcast? And I'm like, oh, just a couple weeks ago. Oh, well, maybe a couple months. Well, oh yeah, like 5 months ago. And he's like, well, you're getting the exact results that you're putting your energy into. None. So let's look at this. Get a clear vision of what you want to create and how you want to feel about it, right? Congruence. Everything you do is focused on creating these things, supporting your core values, if you even know what they are. If you don't, let's work together. I've got this great program called the GeniusLab. And we do a GeniusLab session where we talk about and establish your top 10 core values, your top 10 core beliefs, your mission, your goals. What is it that you want to do, and how do you want to get there? Most people don't spend time on getting enough stuff to be congruent. And so, yeah, everything's fine. I did my one thing, whatever that is. But I want you to be successful, and I want you to have what you want to have. And so, core values, core beliefs, mission, and execution. That's what you want to create. That's what you want to get a handle on so that you can focus and you know what to put your action and energy towards. Okay? Everything you do supports what you desire to create or not. So every decision you make, run it through that filter. Is this supporting what it is that I want to create? Lastly, habits. What kind of habits do you want to create? Okay? And I was thinking about the habits that I've developed over the years, because I have been pretty good and pretty consistent at doing that. So like wake up time. What time do you get up in the morning? I get up at 5:45 every morning. Okay? That's what I do. I have my coffee. I do my meditation. What are your daily activities? Your bedtime, exercise, meditation, playtime. I schedule in playtime. Thursday night. It's Thursday when I'm doing this podcast. And guess what? We have happy hour tonight at 6 o'clock. Every Thursday on my GeniusLab studio Facebook page, I do a happy hour where I have a cocktail with my virtual friends who come in, and I sing some songs, play guitar, and sing some music. And often I have guests, and we just have a great time. So schedule in your wake up time, your bedtime, your daily activities, whatever that is. Exercise is super important, and more important, or as important, is your playtime. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to stop here. We're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it tight. Come back next week, and we'll get more detailed into clarity so that we can give you steps that you can take, practically apply, and achieve the success that you desire.